Man, it's a beautiful, sort of beautiful day today. It's cloudy, and the clouds give me trouble because the clouds go in, clouds go out, or sun goes in and out. But I have my greenhouse is open to get some fresh air in, get the dampness out. The cool weather is okay, the dampness I could live without. So I'm controlling humidity more so than temperature right now. We're saying 65 degrees inside, or is it 51? I don't know. 50, 60 degrees, and the humidity's coming down nicely. But I thought I'd show you, this is a process. I kind of come out here and I look around, and I came up and I saw this particular tray here. And this one happens to be two types of tomato. One is called the True Black Brandywine, and the other is the Orange Accordion. And as such, I put out the pictures. So the True Black Brandywine is a medium-sized tomato, I'm going to call it. It's not a huge tomato, but it's a good-sized tomato. Some people would call it a slicing tomato, maybe. But it's got some nice color to it, nice and dark. Then we have the Orange Accordion, and as you can see, it is quite the funky little tomato, or big tomato. They get huge. I've had these, I grew them, they were very successful. And I'll tell you what, that tray down there represents what I've grown this year. And you'll see the way I notate. T number 42. There's T42. And then on February 29th, I planted 25 seeds of the Orange Accordion and 25 seeds of the True Black Brandywine. And my dog is barking because we've had a lot of hawks circling, and he doesn't like the hawks coming down by the chickens. So here's two examples of heirloom tomatoes that you will not find in Home Depot or Lowe's or the supermarket, but I will have them here. Now, to give you an idea as to, well, how likely is it that you'll see one of these on my cart? Well, there's only 25 of each, all right? The seeds, if you look real close, you'll see that it says 25 seeds minimum, and the other one's 25 seeds. So when I plant them, if I get 30 seeds, I'm lucky. I did these two in one tray because it would be 50. There's 50 cells in that one tray. How you doing, Dexter? Dexter's gonna help me out today. And now the next step is to go pot these up. So we'll show you the next few steps. We're gonna go make some labels, and then we'll get the pots ready. Okay, so the next step is to make our labels. So we come in, and you can see I've got my tomato called the True Black Brandywine, and I'm gonna print out 25 of them. So we hit the print button over here, and if all goes well, printing out on my little printer, my True Black Brandywine. I'll get 25 of them. Then we'll come back up here, and we'll change this over to, let's see, I don't have a True Black. I have to go to ACCORDIAN. Oops, it's Orange Accordion, isn't it? So once I've got the Orange Accordion, I think I'm gonna do this, and I'll take these two, and I'll increase the size of them, make this smaller. I think I spelled that right. Let's see. I have to check my spelling here. ACCORDION. OION rather. There you go. And we'll do 25 of them. Get that set up. I'll print them. And once that's all done, we can go outside again and we'll print them up. We'll stick them onto the pots. Be right back. Okay, so the next step is we're going to put labels onto the, losing my labels here. Put the labels onto the little flower pots. And we're just going to clear up this little space here because these were the ones I did from, say, yesterday or the day before. I'll put that over there, bring this over here. And although it doesn't seem like it's a very complicated step, it is a step that's important, which is making sure I get the right labels on the right flower pots. So far, I don't think I've ever screwed up so royally that I had somebody get, like a beefsteak instead of a cherry tomato. But I do my efforts to keep these things squared away and get them right. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the labels on. I'll show you what that's like in a minute. Okay, so once we've got soil in all of these, what I do is I come in here with my finger and then kind of just give it a little swirl and then make a little divot. And do it with 2 fingers. It's just a way of making a little space down in the center to receive the plug. It's not like super accurate. It's just a little indentation that I can stuff the seedling into. And before I do that, I do take a little fish emulsion, which is basically fish guts dried and ground up to make a fishy smelling powder. But just like the Native Americans would put a bunker into a hole with a plant to feed the plant as it was growing, instead of using bunker, we're using fish emulsion, which is basically a byproduct of the seafood industry, in that you can get the guts and the fingernails and toes and lips and all that from the fish and grind it up and make it into a fertilizer. So we do that, and here is the aforementioned fish fertilizer. And what we do here now is just give it a good shake into each one. Again, a very highly measured accurately system. And what this does is, when I put my little transplant in here, between the medium that I'm using, which is called sweet peat mulch, and the fish fertilizer, gives it a burst of nutrients. When my roots for the little ball, I'll show you in a minute. Let me go get the next step ready. Okay, so once we've got all the labels on, we stack them, put them out. This is 25. I do sets of 25 generally, because it's 50 in a box. It just makes my life easier. Once I've got the labels on and the pots are laid out, we take a measured size handful of my potting mix. Okay, this is a very scientific concept here. We measure it very accurately. You know, we can't make sure nobody gets cheated. And it's just a matter of 1 handful, and it's a guesstimate as to like the size. It's just enough to get the bottom of the flower pot coated. I'm doing this kind of in a way that I wouldn't normally, because I only have 1 hand, but normally with 2 hands I can kind of control my grab. Hey, I can control the grab. Dogs don't like the noises outside. Anyway, so this is what we do. We fill these up. Okay, I'm gonna go get some more. I'm out of here. I'll be right back. Okay, so here we go. This is my flat of 25 orange accordions and 25 black brandywines. And what I can tell you right off the bat is I can see the difference in the plant, because I know that the brandywine has what they call potato leaf plant, as opposed to a tomato with a T. And you can see the difference in the shape. There's a little more points and shape and character to this particular tomato leaf. This is the standard, what we think of as a tomato plant. And then over here, this potato leaf tomato plant is called a brandywine. In this case, it's the true black. So we have this over here. We take the plug, and if we're lucky, we pull it up like that, and we drop it down in. Come back, here's one that's got 2. Somebody's gonna get lucky. And we just do this. And we pull these out. They're a little bit like Velcro, so you have to be a little careful. You can see there's different sizes, you know, the seeds germinate at different rates and so on. A lot of these have 2 of them in it. I probably had more than the 25 seeds, so I probably just doubled up a bunch. So that's the next step, as we start putting them in here. Give me a second and I'll be right with you on the next step. Okay, so you can see that I have into each pot 1 plug. All right, I had, it looks like 2 decapitated over here. So I had to take 2 that had been maybe a double like this, and I split them. So you can see there's one that's a little ratty looking. There's one that's a little ratty looking, but they'll recover fine. They got that fertilizer right there. In 2 days, they'll be happy as heck. All right, so I'm gonna start filling these in. It needs 2 hands, and you'll see where I go with that. Okay, so the next step is to support the new plants. And by doing that, we take a bamboo shish kebab skewer from the dollar store. You get 100 of them for $1.25. And we start putting these strategically right next to the main branch of each plant. Now, some of them won't need it necessarily right away, but they will need it by the time they get out on my wagon for selling, which will be, you know, I don't put them all out on the same day. So if I have 50 of one type of plant, maybe there's only 25 or 20 of them The rest will be in the greenhouses just having a happy day, waiting until they're ready. So let me go ahead and put these sticks in, and the last step really is to take these little twist ties. They're like a plastic or soft coated wire that I can use to, well, I'll do one right here. Let's see, let's get a good one. This one right here is a good one. This happens to have 2 plants, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful because I don't want it to crush. But I'm taking this and I'm just going to give a little loop, basically like that. It's kind of fairly loose, and what that is as this grows, it'll slide up the post a little bit. But for the short term that I have it here, it'll hold it up, keep it protected from the wind, and make it look pretty. And let's see, I got 2 goofy dogs over here. One wants to play, one doesn't want to play. Can you figure out which one wants to play and which one doesn't want to play? Huh? It's kind of funny. He's whining because he wants his big brother to come out and play. And his big brother's saying, no, it's so nice, I want to just take a nap. It's sunny, it's nice out, leave me alone. Yeah, what are you going to do? Alrighty guys, you have figured that out. I'm going to get back to my transplants. So we're going to get these things all staked up and wrapped, and then we'll put them into one of the greenhouses. Okay, so we got half the tray transplanted into pots. We got the stakes, we got the little twisties on them, and we got them all laid out. So 25 true black brandywines potted up. They're looking good. They're going to continue to grow. These type of plants look a little more leggy, I guess they call it, because they don't have the same leaf structure. They're a little different. So after I do all these transplants, they get a little sip of water, and it's not a lot, just enough to wet their whistle. It'll eventually drip down. Whatever's left, whatever's excess just flows right through to the bottom. And it just needs to get the roots a little bit wet. Let me just open that up a little bit. Let's see, what am I doing here? Oh, I must not have the water pressure turned on. Let's go turn the water on. Okay, so last step. Of course, now there's going to have to be a fire truck going by. Last step is to add a little bit of water, all right? Well, let's start this in a minute. Oh, maybe they're going past. That won't be so bad. Okay, so nothing like living in suburban New York on Long Island. So we're doing this. Everybody gets a little sip of water just to get the roots moistened a little bit. It'll activate sort of the fish emulsion, meaning that in a powdered state it's not doing it much good, but once it's diluted into the soil and there's water, the nutrients start to flow, and the plant then can actually access the nutrients that are there. So I give this, just enough to, I guess, wet down the transplant medium and know that the roots are not going to be exposed to air so much as they'll get water on them right away. And that just sets them up for, a good transition. So there is a little bit of what they call transplant shock. Although my plants are so tortured, I don't know that they can tell the difference between plant transplant shock and just another day. So there you have it, folks. Now from there, they're going to go into the greenhouse, and they'll get a few days of R&R, some sunshine, some comfortable temperatures. The wind will be knocked down. That wind, actually, believe it or not, as those little tiny leaves flap in the wind, it builds character. When you don't have the leaves moving like that, the strength of the actual plant is not as good as it could be. So when they come out of my basement where they've had no wind, maybe a little bit of wind moving for air movement from the fan, but otherwise it needs to have the wind. The wind really actually helps bolster the plant. So here it is, mid-April, April 19th, I think it is. And these guys are out here early. I mean, people wouldn't put their tomato plants in April, that's for sure. I've done it, and they sit in there and they do nothing because it's too cold. They don't grow. All right, so we're going to go get the other set of labels for the black brandywines, or the orange accordions, and we'll get them potted up. Okay, so once they've been potted up, they say, I take them into this greenhouse, which I have the best control over the temperature. So right now it's sunny, not very sunny, but partly sunny, and I have some shade cloth up, and let's see, it's 75 degrees in here, I can't complain. That's a good temperature for everybody. They're really thrilled. No heat, no fans. It's just I have everything open so that the greenhouse breathes. You see the doors are open. You know, in this one I only have the one door open, and typically when you come in here the temperature should be a little bit warmer, but right now I'm seeing it says 74. So this one also is at 74. And we've got some stuff that's germinating in here. We're gonna get stuff in there soon enough. Alrighty folks, and that's the process. We take them from packets of seeds, turn them into plants, then put them in a pot, stick them in your ground, and you get tomato plants and fruit. So I'm gonna move on to the next batch. Just pulled out some peppers. These didn't grow as well. You know, you can see there's sometimes this happens. Here's two different types of plant. This one is a Marconi red, and these were supposed to be Scotch bonnets. And only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or so of them have actually germinated. These were my seeds from last year, so who knows, maybe they were just bad. I didn't do anything special. And then we've got some more. It's getting windy. Boy, I tell you, it does get challenging when it's windy. And these are pieces to the little greenhouses that I built, and I'll be doing them in a day or so because I'm running out of space. Alrighty, let's get back to transplanting.